Day 1. The broke dreamer. You're 34 years old and you're asking the gas station clerk to swipe your card a second time because it just declined. For gas, a hot dog, and 1 lottery ticket. And in 12 months you'll sign a deal worth 9 figures and the man about to laugh in your face will be the one begging you for a meeting. Right now you load trucks for $16.50 an hour for a man named Marcus, who owns the warehouse and never lets you forget it. You've got one idea, scribbled on a napkin, that you're sure is your way out. So on break, you slide it across the table and ask him for 10 minutes. He doesn't give you 10 seconds. He reads it, laughs, and holds it up for the whole floor. Tell you what, dreamer, the day this makes $1, I'll frame it in my office. Till then, Doc 4's backed up. The floor laughs. Some guy on the forklift actually claps. That laugh costs you more than the rent you're already short. So that night, out of pure spite, you buy the lottery ticket. Same numbers you've played every Friday for 6 years, your mom's birthday, and a couple you won't explain to anyone. You toss it in the cup holder and forget it exists. It's still sitting there 6 days later, gone soft from a spilled Gatorade. The morning everything changes. You're about to win more money than you've ever let yourself imagine. And it's going to be the loneliest year of your life. Marcus just laughed at the wrong guy. He doesn't know that yet. Neither do you. Day 7. The new millionaire. You find out in the warehouse parking lot, 11 minutes before your shift, sitting in a truck that needs a brake job you've been putting off since March. You check the numbers against the ticket on your phone. Then you check them again. Then a third time because your brain keeps handing the information back like it can't accept the delivery. You hit it. Not alone one other ticket, 3 states away, match the same 6 numbers, so the top prize splits down the middle. After the lump sum haircut and the taxes nobody warned you about, your cut is $4.8 million. You sit there for a while, then you clock in. You load trucks for 6 more hours. You don't tell anyone. You can't explain it later, your hands just didn't know what else to do. And saying it out loud felt like it might make it untrue. And every 20 minutes you check the photo of the ticket like it might have erased itself. You go home. You don't sleep. You don't show up on day 8. By day 9 it has leaked, and by day 10 your phone is a stranger. 47 messages. You didn't know you knew 47 people. A cousin you last saw at a funeral you could have sworn. An ex suddenly warm in a way she hasn't been since before she left. A financial advisor who somehow has your number and uses your first name like you went to high school together. And a man named Dave. You don't know a Dave. Dave knows you now. Money, it turns out, has a smell. People find it from a long way off. Here is the part nobody tells you. You sit in your apartment with $4.8 million, and the feeling you have been waiting for your entire life does not arrive. Not relief, not the exhale. Nothing comes through the door. The fridge still hums. The faucet still drips the way it's dripped for 2 years. And when rent comes due again that month, you pay it the day it's due, not before. Not after, out of a reflex 30 years deep, even though you could buy the building, the block, and the man who owns them. You keep waiting for the world to reorganize itself around what happened. It doesn't. The parking lot doesn't know. You feel exactly the same as you did at $16.50 an hour. The one outcome you were certain was impossible. That night, lying awake, you do something strange. You take the napkin out of your wallet. You read your own handwriting in the dark, the idea Marcus held over his head for the whole floor to laugh at a week ago. And for the first time, the numbers on it don't look like a joke. They look like a plan you can finally afford. Then your phone lights up. A text from Marcus, the man who has never once texted you. Heard the news. We should talk. Got something you'll want in on. You read it 3 times, same as the jackpot. You don't answer. You just lie there, holding a napkin and a fortune, wondering why the only thing that's changed is everyone around you. Day 30. The careful spender. A month in, you are a millionaire clipping the digital coupon for eggs. You catch yourself doing it in the grocery aisle and you don't even stop. Old wiring doesn't reroute because the account balance changed. You don't answer Marcus. Instead, you do the thing nobody makes a video about. You open a spreadsheet. 30 days, and you've spent $9,400 total. A used Tacoma with 90,000 miles. A real mattress, the first one you've owned that wasn't somebody else's first. Rent paid a full year ahead, because the idea of rent not hanging over you was worth more than anything in a store. That's it. That's the spending spree. What nobody warns you about isn't the money going out. It's the people coming in. They arrive in order of audacity. Your cousin Reggie calls about a sports bar that, literally cannot lose, in a town that already has 4 of them in one team, and the team is a crime against the sport. He's offering you the ground floor, which is generous, considering the building doesn't exist yet. A guy you played ball with in high school needs just a bridge, 20 grand, back by spring, swears on kids you've never met. Then a number you don't recognize leaves a voicemail, a woman crying, saying she heard, saying she's family in a way you'd have to take her word for. You learn fast that no cost you a person every single time. And yes cost you more than money, it cost you the right to ever say no again. And then there's the dating. Suddenly you're matching with women who would have swiped right past a guy in a warehouse vest. You sit across from one at dinner and you can tell she's already done the math by how carefully she orders, by the way she asks, "So what do you do now?" like she already knows the answer. You stop being able to tell if anyone's looking at you anymore or just at the number standing behind your chair. You break once. You walk into a store and you buy a watch, $1,900. Not just any watch, the exact one Marcus wears, the one he taps when he wants you to know your break is over. You put it on in front of the mirror, and for about 4 seconds you feel it. The arrival, the proof. Now I'm serious. Now I'm somebody. You wear it to dinner with your sister that Friday. She doesn't notice it. Talks the whole time about her kids' school, the car making a noise, the usual weather of an ordinary life. Not once does her eye drop to your wrist, and somewhere between the entree and the check you understand that the watch was never for her. It was for Marcus. And Marcus isn't here. You take it off in the car and you never put it on again. The hum is still there. The low, constant frequency under everything that says not enough, not enough. You had assumed money would turn it off. $4.8 million, and it hasn't moved the dial a single degree. Here's the part that actually scares you. Sitting on cash isn't safe. You can feel it shrinking quietly, every day, against the price of everything like a snowman nobody told you was already melting. Hoarding it is just a slower way of being broke. So one night you open a browser and you type 3 words you have never typed in your life. How to invest. The cursor blinks at you. Somewhere under the fear, the engine that Marcus laughed at turns over once and catches. Day 60. The active investor. The office is on the 11th floor and it smells like cold air and certainty. You found this firm yourself. It isn't the man who called you the week the news broke. It's a real one. Its name etched into the lobby glass. 4 of them across the table, though only one talks. He says allocation. He says downside exposure. He slides over a fee structure you have to read twice because the percentage is small and the number it's a percentage of is not. But here's what gets you. He talks to you like you're serious. And after 34 years of being the dreamer, the guy with the napkin, the Doc 4 punchline being talked to like that is a drug you didn't know you were starving for. You almost sign on the spot. You don't sign. You go home, you open your own brokerage account, and in one afternoon you put $200,000 into the market. The screen lights up green, and you feel it, the specific illicit thrill of money making money while you sit there doing nothing while you sleep. For a week you check it before your eyes are fully open. You develop strong opinions about the Federal Reserve. Nobody asked. You have them anyway. Then day 51 happens. The market drops 6% on a Tuesday for reasons 3 different headlines explain 3 different ways. You watch the green go red. You watch 4.8 become less. And the old panic, the 30-year-old panic, the we cannot lose this panic grabs the wheel. You sell. At the bottom. In 90 seconds. $14,000 gone. You sit in the dark and do the math you can't help doing. $14,000. That's 10 months of warehouse wages, 600 backbreaking shifts vaporized in the time it takes to microwave dinner. Because you flinched. That's the tuition. Everybody pays it. Nobody tells you the bill comes due the first time you're scared. So you stop. You don't touch it for 2 weeks. You read instead boring books, boring forums, boring men in boring sweaters explaining why boring wins. Then you rebuild. Diversified. Automatic. Dull on purpose. It climbs back. Slower. Quieter. But it climbs because you finally understand the only rule that matters. The market is a machine for moving money from the people who panic to the people who wait. The advisor from the 11th floor calls to check in. He tells you that you're more disciplined than most of his clients. You thank him. You don't tell him the truth that discipline is just the polite word for being broke for 34 years and never being allowed to flinch about anything. You hang up. You take the napkin out of your wallet and you unfold it on the kitchen table. And you read your own handwriting like it belongs to a stranger who was smarter than you gave him credit for. The numbers hold up. The idea holds up. And for the first time, you don't want to buy something with this money, or even grow it on a screen. You want to build the thing on the napkin. You want to stand in front of something real. You just don't know yet what that's going to cost you. Day 90. The portfolio owner. A number on a screen isn't enough anymore. You want something you can stand in front of, something with a door you can lock. So you close on a duplex across town for $240,000. And 2 weeks later, before the ink is dry on the first one, you close on a 4-unit building 3 streets over. And just like that, you are a landlord. You sit with the word a while. Your dad used to say it the way other men say a slur landlord, the people who held the rope your family climbed for 3 generations. Now, it's your title. You own the rope. The romance lasts about 11 days. Day 78, 11:14 at night, your phone lights up. The water heater's out in Unit 2. You didn't know it was possible to hate an appliance. You were wrong. Day 85? A tenant goes 3 weeks late and stops answering, and you sit there learning that the late one is always the one you liked. You start refreshing Zillow at red lights. You learn what a cap rate is without meaning to, and then you start saying it out loud at parties, watching the light leave people's eyes in real time. And one afternoon you catch yourself on the phone, using a flat, hard voice about a late payment, and you realize you sound exactly like Marcus. You hang up before you finish the sentence. Then a unit goes vacant, and you do something you don't fully admit to yourself. Instead of renting it out, you gut it. New floor, 1 desk, a window. You tell anyone who asks that it's just storage. It is not storage. It's an office, the room where the napkin becomes real. You're not ready to say that out loud yet, because saying it means you could fail at it. You tape the napkin to the wall. The first time it's ever been put on display, and you're the one who hung it. The buildings settle into a rhythm. And at the end of the first full month after the mortgage, the taxes, that busted water heater, the property, clears its first positive cash flow. $3,100. You stare at the deposit notification for a long time. $3,100, a number 1,000 times smaller than the jackpot that started all of this. And it feels more real than the $4.8 million ever did. Because this one you built. This one shows up whether you wake up or not. That's the night you understand what the money is actually for. Not the watch. Not the 11th floor. This. Something that breathes on its own. Somewhere in these 3 months, you also meet someone. A pediatric nurse who works nights and never once thought to Google you she liked you before she knew there was a number to like. For the first time since the wire cleared, you feel like a person and not an account. So you don't tell her how much. You're scared of what the truth might turn her into. Then the phone rings. Not a text this time. Marcus. He's heard you've been buying property. He's heard about the little route thing. And in the warm, easy voice of a man who's never once doubted he'll get what he wants, he says he's been thinking maybe there's a partnership here. Maybe he buys in, puts his name on it, gives it some weight. The idea he held over his head for the whole floor to laugh at. He wants to own a piece of it now. You tell him you'll think about it. You hang up and you look at the napkin taped to the wall of a room you built, and you understand you're not going to sell him the idea. You're going to build it yourself, and you're going to make him watch. Day 150, the business owner. It's Friday, and payroll is due, and you have $11,000 in the account, and 3 people who are counting on a number bigger than that. This is what nobody puts on the vision board. The porch, the title, founder in your email signature, none of that is real on a Friday like this one. You built the napkin. You actually did it. A dispatch repair network for the small shops Marcus's company has spent a decade squeezing. 3 employees, 1 rented van, $380,000 of your own money in the ground. You put founder in your signature and felt like a fraud because the whole company was you, that van, and a kid named Tyler who may or may not show up on a Thursday. You work more hours now than you ever did at $16.50 an hour. For less money. On paper. Your star hire quits in week 3 for a salaried job with dental. You can't even be angry. You lost a man to the promise of a free cleaning twice a year, and the worst part is, at 24 you'd have done the exact same thing, and called it being responsible. Then your first real client signs a brake and muffler shock that happens to buy parts from Marcus's company. And Marcus finds out. He doesn't call you this time. He calls them. He sits across from your client and calls your whole operation a lottery winner's hobby. Tells them you'll be gone by winter. Here's what Marcus never had to learn because he was always the one with the rope. People remember. They remember who charged them double when they couldn't fight back. They remember who showed up. So you don't fold and you don't beg, you undercut Marcus on that exact route. And within the same week, you signed 2 more shops that were just waiting for somebody, anybody, to give them a reason to leave him. The routes start filling. Revenue isn't profit yet, you say that sentence in your sleep, but the vans are moving. And quietly, a thought forms. A network like this, if it gets big enough, is exactly what a national company would pay a stupid number to own. You don't let yourself finish the thought. There's payroll to make. You hire a dispatcher to keep up. A kid from your old warehouse, 22, sharp, passed over twice by Marcus for a promotion he'd earned. First week, he backs up a schedule and the docs jam, and you feel it rise in your throat. The flat, hard voice. The Marcus voice. Ready to put him in his place in front of everyone. You stop. You walk to his desk instead and you fix it next to him, quiet, like somebody should have done for you. Above his desk, you've hung the napkin. In a $4 frame from the drugstore. Cheap on purpose, because the framing was never the point. Marcus said he'd frame it the day it made $1. It's made a few now, and it's hanging in your shop, not his. He doesn't know that yet. He's about to. Day 210. The angel investor. They start finding you. Not the smooth founders with the warm handshakes who go to the 11th floor, the other kind. The ones who ran the thing themselves before they raised $1, because they heard the lottery winner actually drove his own routes. You write your first check. $50,000 into 2 kids building software that fixes the exact billing nightmare your own shops scream about every month. Writing that check does something receiving $4.8 million never did. You feel it in your hands. Because this money isn't landing on you, it's leaving you on purpose, pointed at something. That's the difference nobody explained. But now you're on the other side of the table. You're in the chair. Marcus's chair. A nervous founder slides a deck across the table to you, and you feel it rise up in you like heat the pull to lean back, to be clever, to hold his idea over your head for the room. You catch it. You write your no emails late at night and reread them twice, every time, to make sure they're kind. It takes you longer to turn a man down gently than it ever took Marcus to ruin your whole week for free. Then the meeting request comes in, and you read the name 3 times, same as the jackpot. Marcus. His company is leveraged to the hilt and bleeding cash. Your root business took a bite out of him. He can't stop. He needs capital. And so the man who owns the warehouse, the room, and as far as the room was concerned, you, comes to your office and sits down in front of your desk. Above your desk, in a $4 frame, is the napkin. He doesn't mention it. But he sees it. I promise you, he sees it. You got 10 minutes? He asks. A year ago, you asked him that exact question, and he held your idea over his head for the floor to laugh at. You give him the 10 minutes. You don't gloat. Gloating would be a gift. Would tell him this still matters to you. You just listen. Quietly. Completely. Which is so much worse for him than anything you could say. Then you decline. Not for revenge. Because the numbers don't work, and you can read numbers now, and they say no long before your pride gets a vote. He stands. He looks at the napkin one more time on his way out. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't have to. That same week, the first check you ever wrote, the $50,000, gets a term sheet from a real fund at a 7 times markup. On paper, in one email, you made more than you made in your first 34 years of being alive combined. And the hum goes quiet for about 10 minutes. Then it starts again, low and familiar, under everything. And you sit very still in the chair you once dreamed of taking. Marcus humbled, the napkin framed, the revenge complete, and you wait to feel finished. You don't feel finished. You're starting to wonder if you ever will. Day 300. The multi-millionaire. The markup. The roots. The buildings. The boring automatic portfolio, it all compounds at once. The way money does only after you stop needing it to. Most of it is the root business itself now. Real revenue, real trucks, valued by the same hungry math that will, in 2 months, try to buy the whole thing outright. You cross $18 million on a Tuesday. On paper, you don't celebrate. You move it into structures with names you didn't know existed a year ago, and you sign where the lawyer points and you feel nothing, which is starting to feel like the only thing you reliably feel. A security consultation because of the lottery, because your name was in the paper. The consultant tells you to vary your routine. You have one routine. It's work. A PR person on a small retainer, just in case. An assistant who manages a calendar so dense that your own sister now needs 2 days' notice to get 30 minutes of you. Your own sister. The woman changed your diapers and now she's booking a slot. You live inside a structure built to protect you, and it does protect you. And on certain Tuesday mornings, it makes you feel like a painting in a climate-controlled vault, insured, admired, and unable to leave the frame. The nurse, the one who liked you before the numbers, says it plainly one night without raising her voice. That you're in the room but never actually in it. That you answered 3 emails during dinner and called it being present. She isn't angry. She's just done. She leaves the way fair people leave. Quietly, a box of her things by the door, no scene. And the worst part is you understand it completely. You would have left you too. You take one day. You drive to your sister's. Her kitchen table has a wobbly leg, propped level with a folded piece of cardboard, the exact fix your family used 20 years ago. In a different kitchen, in a different decade, like the cardboard followed you here. You notice it, and you have to look at the window for a second. You could end it. Every money worry your sister will ever have, gone with one transfer you wouldn't feel. You've known the number for months. You pay for the groceries instead. Just the groceries. Because you understand something you can't explain to people who've never lived close to the line that money handed over wrong doesn't just help. It rewrites what you are to each other. It turns a sister into an account, a visit into a withdrawal. And you are terrified, genuinely terrified, of losing the one person who still talks to you like you make $16.50 an hour. You didn't have to do that, she says at the register. It's nothing, you say. It is not nothing. You can both feel the weight of it sitting there on the belt between the eggs and the bread, and neither of you reaches for it, and you let it ride away under the scanner. You drive home that night to a house with very good locks. You are the wealthiest person anyone you love has ever known, and you have never in your life felt further from any of them. The hum you spent a year and $4.8 million and then $18 million trying to silence is louder tonight than it has ever been. And it occurs to you somewhere on the dark highway that you got everything. The money, the business, the chair, Marcus, humbled, the napkin, framed. Every single thing the broke man in the break room swore would fix it. And the broke man is still in there, still loading trucks, still not enough. You don't understand yet why. You're about to. Day 365. The wealth magnate. It comes on day 358. A national logistics company wants the route network, not for the trucks, for the map. They want to own the small shops so their competitors can never reach them, and you built the only door in. They name a number. With everything else you hold, it lands you in 9 figures. The wire clears at 3:11 on a Wednesday afternoon. You're 35 years old, standing in your kitchen, and you read the number once, then again, then a 4th time, and your brain still won't file it as real. You set the phone down. You pick up a dish towel and dry a plate that was already dry. You stand at the sink and you wait for it, the arrival, the exhale, the signal from somewhere that the distance you traveled was real and the universe noticed. It doesn't come. It didn't come at 4.8 million either, that first night with the napkin in the dark. You understand now, finally, all the way down. It was never going to come. You were never running toward a number. The number was just the proof you kept hoping would arrive. There's no one in the house to tell. For 1 second you think about texting the nurse just to say the number out loud to another human being. You don't. You gave up the right to do that around month 10. You take the napkin down off the wall, and you think about mailing it to Marcus. God, it would be perfect. No note he'd know. Just the napkin, framed, mailed to the office of the man who said he'd hang it the day it made $1. It made 9 figures. The cruelest, cleanest thing you could do. You hold it for a long time. You don't send it to Marcus. You drive it to your sister's house, and you hang it on the wall above the kitchen table, the one with the wobbly leg and the folded cardboard. Right there, where her kids do their homework. They have your eyes, and they have no idea what a lottery ticket is for, and if you got this one thing right, they never will. They'll grow up standing on the thing that used to be the lid over this whole family you took the limit and turned it into the ground under their feet. They'll never go feeling along the walls for the edges of a room they were born on top of. That not the 9 figures, not Marcus, not the chair is the only thing that ever quieted the hum. And even that only quiets it for a while. Because a year ago, you swore Marcus would one day sit across from you and ask for 10 minutes. He did. You gave them to him. And it changed nothing. Because the engine that carried you from Dock 4 to that wire was never running on Marcus. And it was never running on money. It was running on a wound that doesn't check your account balance, one built a long time ago by a kid nobody took seriously. You solved the money. Completely. Permanently. At a scale the broke man in the break room could never have pictured. You fix the money. You have no idea how to fix the man it left standing at the counter. The napkin hangs over the wobbly table. The kids do their homework under it, never once looking up to check for a lid. And you, on certain ordinary mornings, still feel something pressing down a few inches above your head. There's nothing there. You spent a year making sure of it. You feel it anyway. If this story stayed with you, like and subscribe for more.